Next up is a Zoom from June, right before we launched Big Picture World TV. This is a Zoom call with the leaders and main, basically, architects behind what will be the Loveoultuion overnight comedy and music festival, led by myself, Danny Falcone, celebrity hosts Robert Russler, Martin Kleba, Dave Sheridan. Jamie King will be part of that as well, along with Holden Schneider, who is helping produce the comedy festival portion of this. Bill Boyd Jr., who worked with both Dick Clark and Jerry Lewis, is one of the main co-directors of this, along with myself. There are several other prominent voices on this as well. David McClendon, who's really overseeing all of our foundations but helping lead this forward, as well as several writers who will make this up. We also talk on here about the film festival that will happen starting next year. I did everything possible to produce that for this year as well. But this gives you some insight into what is upcoming. It's now November. I'm making these intros for these calls. And Eric Gardner, you see, I'm leaving breadcrumbs of receipts throughout every one of these to show that I've been in contact with a journalist. And if you do not report on all of this, sir, then you're no better than the politicians that are corrupt, covering up things that happen in the world. So I need people in our industry to show up, to stand united. This is not about politics. I'm just comparing the corruption that happens in the entertainment industry to where even journalists don't want to use their voices to shine a light on things and would rather be silent. Basically, I'm trying to unite everybody forward. So that's what the plan is. The plan for everything that we're going to do the end of this month in November here in my hometown where I'm currently sitting. Well, it's all on this Zoom call. God bless. We also talk about the foundation work. I talk about some of these abusive men and people in positions of power that need to be held accountable and not be judged, but to basically take accountability for these situations that they have put other human beings into. God bless.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just thinking about God, man. I got my emotions under control, but this day, these calls, if you
Okay.
remember that first Zoom that you and I had
Yeah.
months ago, where I brought you into this and talked about these foundations, I just can't help but be flooded with memories of these people and also other friends that I watched lose their lives in this business. So today is just a lot. It makes total sense that I'm going to one of these meetings also that Danny oversees today. Just the timing of the creator's design and all of this is profound. Here's Holden.
Interestingly enough, I'm Catholic, was raised in a very Catholic family and educated and all of that. And one of my brothers-in-law is Choctaw Indian, and he too is Catholic, but they always refer to God as the creator.
Yep. And
So
that's
I like
that's
that
the
that
that's God that
non-sexual,
I'm
yeah,
gonna say every time I say God, I'm gonna say God the creator, because
or
that's what
just
it
create
is.
the creator. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. And
So I like it.
that was one of the movies. I've only seen two movies with Power, Olive Power Grant, who's my partner in fashion, who created the Wu-Tang brand with RZA and everyone else, but he oversees it. What's up, Holden? And the only movies Power and I have seen, you see, I met Power. It had nothing to even do with the Wu-Tang Clan. We met in a parking lot. We didn't know each
Wow,
other. And it was after I made the movie. And he called me out. We saw two movies. We saw The Creator together, and then we saw Civil War. And the day we saw The Creator was the day that Matthew Perry passed away.
wow.
And it's just profound stuff. So while we're waiting, Bill's on too, our director. And then um, I want to run through everything all at once, so I'll wait to get started.
Great.
But some quick introductions. Holden Schneider and I met
No, no
outside
problem.
the Buckhead Diner, Mr. McClendon. Holden, this is David,
Pleasure.
who's one of my main partners in all of this, specifically the foundations. And Holden oversees the comedy venue. Will you talk a bit really briefly, Holden, about because everyone else has been on calls together that's
I
on
think
this.
that's mine. I think that's yours.
Yeah,
Holden is producing the comedy festival side of what we're doing. He introduced me to John Radinsky. Literally directly in front of where Holden and I met, there was a "Who would you share a Coca-Cola with" billboard, and John and I introduced ourselves to each other, and he was one of the actors in Catch 22, overseen by George Clooney, who I share a birthday with. And then I told him I was connected to Mark Wahlberg's inner circle, that I hadn't met Mark, but I was working with his crew. And then I went inside, and you know what was on the TV of the diner? Freaking The Perfect Storm, starring Clooney and Wahlberg.
I'll be damned. Great.
So Holden,
Great.
you've got on the phone Bill Boyd Jr., who spent years working with Dick Clark and Jerry Lewis. You've got Dion Provit, who oversees the management side of connecttoyourcity.com, which has given me a platform to shine big, bright spotlights on social injustices with the Big Picture World TV channel I've created with everybody that launches on June 6th. It's a 24-hour recorded live stream loop that will ultimately never be turned off because I'm going to keep adding to it. It showcases the entire path of Big Picture World Group, who brought in Malka Equities to buy Paramount. Moses Gross would not exist publicly, neither would Daphne Ziman, had I not introduced them to one another. And I am sick of people taking credit for hundreds of people's of work from a group of individuals that don't know anybody in what I've created except for like two people. And I am done. And my channel proves it. So I'm holding them accountable because everybody's going to get behind this telethon, or I'm never going to shut up. And I'm going to do it every single year. And then you've got Kat Nowak, who I literally met through Daphne's partner, Denise Burkhart, who literally I stopped working with when she told me that if we got Paramount, she was going to make sure no horror films could ever be made again. And I was wearing literally a Michael Myers hoodie. And I told her that the legacy connected to my life in Larry Franco and John Carpenter are kings of horror. And I'm trying to remake some movies and do new sequels. So I stopped really communicating with Denise from that point forward. And it's been nothing but blessings every day because I've been walking in something bigger than myself. So Holden, while we're waiting for our stars who are a little late, and if they don't get on this, that's okay too, because this is happening. Oh, here's Fernando. But Holden Schneider, will you share a bit about who you are to the Big Picture World family that now you're overseeing the entire comedy side for, and kind of the space that you're in?
Of course. Yeah, I appreciate you again. Thank you again for bringing me into this. Like you mentioned, we met here at the Punchline at the Landmark Diner. I'm one of the overseeing managers here, mostly on the talent side. So I'm just making sure that talent's comfortable. We're hanging out with them, making sure they have everything they need. And sure enough, as we leave, who's outside, other than William here, catches a vibe. He's like, "Excuse me, were you guys the comedians? You're John. We need to talk." Runs inside, and I just want to give a quick little overview. This is the inside of the club here. Right outside the door here is the billboard that you go ahead and mention. Unfortunately, they do new campaigns here every month. So it's not currently the Share a Coke one, but it will be back next month. They change it literally every month. I've been producing comedy shows here and independently, not produced by the Punchline, pretty much since I started doing comedy, which is about 5 years ago. But I've been involved in cultural events and music festivals in my early life. My father was an event producer for the Smithsonian, as well as some inaugurations and things like that. So I've had an early step in event production. Literally since I was 9 years old, I was helping my father with events. I know it sounds like child labor. Things were a little bit weird in DC. We were allowed to build stages back then for the National Mall. I was doing that. I worked construction doing that for him. Eventually was a liaison and helped run the merchandising for inaugurations for one of the George Bushes and both of the Obamas. Unfortunately, my dad lost his government clearance after he quit his Smithsonian job and moved into music festivals. But I've been blessed on that front as well, helping produce music festivals across the country with him, alongside him, building stages, things like that. And then I found my own passion in comedy and kind of stepped away from that. So, but like William said, I've been just building my own local network, connecting with people, building my own craft. building my own way to control crowds and just build cultural events, because that's what I've been a part of my entire life, just cultural events.
Thank you, Holden. So Holden's one of the main producers of this whole thing, David, along with Bruce Long. And Dave Sheridan's messaging me, so I got to make sure I get him a proper link. 1 second. Um, uh, Thank you, Bill, for sending that. So I got introduced to Bill Boyd Jr. by my friend of literally 20 years, Dave Sheridan, who is a comedy genius, comes from Jersey. He has been in every single thing that the Wayans have practically ever produced. He became globally famous for playing Officer Doofus in Scary Movie. And he is somebody who I ran into him after not seeing him for a few years when I was invited by Dan Roebuck to a horror convention when I was in Vegas, going back for the first time after Andrew Klein, who Kat actually knows, fired a bullet at my head. And Dave and I met, and I asked him, I told him what I was working on, what I was wanting to do. He dove in head first, and then he blessed me in agreeing to star in what I thought was going to be the first film I was going to direct, which I still intend to make. That has been delayed, and I pivoted because Paul Cuscieri, who cannot be on here, along with Lee Kaplan, who introduced me to Malka Equities, they control the trademark on Pulp Fiction. Paramount does not, to do it as a series. So that's one of the reasons why I went and bought. And basically, when I say bought, I mean we're closing, going into escrow, because with my real estate partner, Louis, not Malka Equities, I have put together an ownership group to acquire the Ocala Drive-In Movie Theater in Ocala, Florida, where we are building Lucille Studios at. And I am creating a human experience centered around the world's first ever, basically drive-in film studio, where we're going to shoot every episode of Pulp Fiction, the anthology TV series. Those episodes will go on the Lucille streaming nonprofit platform, and basically all these other businesses for merch. Hello, Mr. Rustler. All these other businesses from merch to everything else will basically pay the investors of the nonprofit. And those are corporations we've created with A-listers and legacies. And my directorial debut, what it was going to be, The Pucks, written by Eddie George, a script I got from Scott Ross, who was in the Funky Bunch with Mark Wahlberg. And no one can silence me anymore. I'm going to talk about my life. And so The Pucks, which was going to be just a one-off horror franchise, is now going to be Pulp Fiction Presents The Pucks. And we are creating basically a global distribution for every single drive-in theater, to where these episodes of Pulp Fiction will play at drive-ins. They will all premiere first in Ocala, Florida, a town where John Travolta lives in, the lead actor of Pulp Fiction, my town, my city, my home. And that's the foundation of our studio. I got to catch Robert up on a lot of what he believed in for months. Mr. Rustler and I were part of a recorded meeting, not a Zoom, an in-person meeting, where the person filming that actually directed a doc involving RFK Jr., which is called The Bigger Picture. It was called that before we met. Christian Cordeau filmed us getting together in September, before any of this Paramount stuff was ever public. Robert's the co-CEO of our streaming platform. Um, it's not hard to look at who his family is in real estate and also in the studio world. That's his place to speak in. I've talked about it. He said when we got to the point of structure and reality, all the important individuals to change everything would show up. So I've been blessed to have the guidance of Mr. Rustler. And moving forward, this finally is not just my voice. Thank you, God, who all glory goes to, God the Creator. I'm going to say God the Creator forever and not God, because like I said on the previous Zoom, women equate God to man. All anyone talks about is our Father. They never say our Father and our Mother. God created divine feminine and divine masculine. Robert's one of the reasons why I finally walked into my truth of being bisexual, which I never even knew about until I met the love of my life in Sydney. And that has nothing to do with having sex with anybody. And I could talk about all this endlessly. We're going to have the opportunity to do so on this telethon. Rustler, there is a Zoom I need to send you that we just had that will do a lot of the explaining. But basically, since I got Marty and Dave here, amazing. So we have the 72 Jackson 5 master recordings. I want to implement those into this whole telethon. We are going to partner with Kodak, Coca-Cola, and Mercedes to do 72 global short films that will then launch this telethon on August 29th, which is the day that the Lucille platform debuts. It is a nonprofit. I have created Big Picture World TV. It's basically a finding justice channel. It's a recorded live stream of all these Zoom meetings, in-person meetings, everything we've had over 14 months. And some meetings Sydney and I had with some abusive men who we had to leave companies with that make up the beginning of this. It's a finding justice channel, specifically finding justice for our Paramount bid being blocked, but also for the namesake of our foundation and Lacy Magee, who dealt with an abusive A-list celebrity who made her sleep in a coffin and also got her addicted to drugs, in addition to the abuse that Jamie King has been put through by her ex-husband, where myself, Bruce Chang, and Becky Dalda were literally at her house working for like 3 days, building all of this to launch it back in the end of last year. And her husband used the fact that there were 3 men at her house and press to manipulate the court system to basically help himself in a custody battle that he's basically been going through with Jamie. I don't know the status of that because Jamie's been dealing with that. But the point is, I wanted to create a platform that shined light on abuse, specifically in the entertainment industry. And I had to acknowledge the verbal abuse that I put people through. I had to acknowledge the hedonistic life that I once lived starting at 19, where due to missing all of high school, I went down to Tijuana when I first moved to Los Angeles and I lost my virginity to a sex worker. And then I stayed in that world from 19 until I was 32 years old when I met Sydney, who I met literally on seeking arrangements. Sid was not a sex worker, but this is her truth. She'll talk about it at some point. People that are close to her know that. Her family doesn't know it fully. The whole point is we got to set ourselves free by living in our truth to change everything. And moving forward, this is all in place because I've literally produced it all. I announced this the end of last year to do in February. I just didn't have the exact mechanics of how it would work. So the whole thing is focused around the Jackson 5 IP. I have somewhat had to hold Don Bennett and Henry Vaccaro accountable because like so many people came to me for just money, not for anything other than the money for their agendas that they had in front of them for what they wanted. And nobody cared to ask what I actually wanted and how I wanted to launch all this or what I received as visions. Robert understood that. That's why I always showed up. He always knew it was bigger than us. And the faces of this telethon are Robert Russler, Dave Sheridan, Sidney L. Brocious, Jamie King, and Martin Kleba, because of the foundation I have also, Action Through Action, which works with people with disabilities. And again, this whole thing being produced moving forward, I've talked about it starting in July. We're not going to stick to that beginning date because of what I was able to create utilizing these short films. We're going to do 72 global short films. They're going to be produced by everybody on this call and the previous Zoom call I had, which I will share for those that aren't on this. Those short films are going to be documented and created at the picnic table at the Canyon Country store, the ones that are done in America, literally from spark to legacy. They're going to star an A-list actor alongside an unknown talent. They're going to be guided by all of you amazing men and women, and the women that aren't on this. And then we will literally have iconic directors such as Nick Cassavetes, Tony Kaye, The RZA, so on and so forth. Everybody that makes up Big Picture World Group will be involved in the creative of those. And I had Steve Bellamy, the president of Kodak, sitting next to Les Garland and Rachel Winter at the foundational dinner to start all of this and start Project Rise Partners, a dinner that Esai Morales was also part of. Esai is going to star in the film that David McClendon is going to do. So these are all short films, similar to what BMW did with the Ticker series that starred Clive Owen back in the day. And we will be able to execute all of this together because I have already created the entire vision to do so. I put an entire deck together. Everything's done. My intentions initially, before I realized the pivot, I didn't have to go to New York, but I need to go back to LA. I was going to go and meet with Paris Jackson and RZA on a film I was supposed to produce that's premiering now at Tribeca. But I'm coming back to LA with Sydney because we all have to go to the Canyon Country store to sign the brand ownership agreement paperwork with Tommy Bina. as soon as I get to Phoenix and launch this channel on June 6th, which is the anniversary of when Sydney and I met. So, Mr. Rustler, since you walked literally every day in this, came to me when I was assaulted and helped me. And by the way, that's all in the past. That was a brotherly situation, one where I did not call the police on Mr. Tory Gamble. The neighbors did, but it was a point of trauma at the time. Tori has helped me tremendously the last 2 months in finalizing the connectivity of this. And all of this will be showcased on the channel. Thank you for listening. I want to stay quiet because the main vision behind the direction of the telethon will be Bill Boyd Jr. I want to oversee what these films are. The goal is to literally get all of these produced and made through the rest of the month of June, through July and the beginning of August, to then launch essentially a week before the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, which is connected to me and my legacy because I have retired fully as a film producer and quite frankly, filmmaker if I have to, so I could talk about the dark side of our business. I put it all on the line. I have made an 8-hour documentary on life and legacy and connectivity. It's me talking, which I could do a lot, as everybody knows, but everything is a connective point. At least the first half of that on my Instagram. The second half is going on Instagram literally the night of June 5th before the platform launches. One of these men that's an A-list celebrities, the namesake of our foundation, Lacy Magee. She dated Shannon Leto. Shannon got her addicted to drugs, as did Jared. They made her sleep in a coffin. They had her sign NDAs just like Diddy and the Weinsteins did for people. And they basically tossed her aside like so many evil people do. One of the reasons why I had Rachel Winter at the dinner that I had, because you see, this is stuff to see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Well, I've seen a lot of evil with a lot of evil men and entertainment and some women in positions of power. And I am going to utilize my voice to eliminate all of that forever moving forward. And Dave Sheridan, you know Jamie King and the abuse that she got put through by her ex-husband and the shit that he tried to manipulate publicly. Yes, Jamie had addiction issues in the past, like so many, but she is not the reason for the problems that basically came into her life. And I got to see that firsthand after spending years still working with both of them, but knowing the problems. But then when I saw the level of manipulation that Kyle Newman uses the media for because he's not famous and his ex-wife is, well, I was done. I decided to finally take a stand. And she asked me to come and testify for her in court. But I was focused on all this and I told her I needed to worry about myself at the time. So I am doing something to change it all and it's already done. And it's this telethon. This telethon is focused on abuse specifically because abuse that we receive as children when we don't even know we're going through it because children are sponges. So even if an argument happens around a kid, they receive that energy. And I've understood things from the path I've walked, specifically when I found the book Spontaneous Evolution, which is rooted in biology and science, at the way that all this works. And ultimately, if you can come forward and you can forgive the people that abused you, and everybody can get to a place of love and forgiveness, it will change everything. And that is my hope with all of this. And I'm on a call with people that are more experienced in leadership than I am. This is not something I ever did. I followed behind Sydney for 7 years. She had an invisible tattoo on her back in black ink that was Ender's Net. That's everything is connected together as a spider web. And you men, specifically Dave, Robert, Mr. McClendon, Dion, who gave me the platform, Bill Boyd, since I met you, and Mr. Martin Kleba, just in your energy. You know, all of us are kind of the outsiders. We've all been connected to the global celebrities and talent. Some of you have found success on a global level, but not in the foundational aspect of some of your closest friends. And I'm fully convinced by God, the Creator's design of divine time, that the reason why none of us hit the levels that we were supposed to in our lives and our careers were for what all this work has been that's now been created that literally will set art free. I don't want to talk endlessly about things I've had to do to put this forward in Zooms we've had. All of you will be able to see it and watch the channel. I'll share with each of you the endless Zoom calls I've had the last 2 weeks. But everybody's going to receive on June 5th and June 6th the entire overview of the Canyon Country human experience. which is building hotels, utilizing that brand all around the world, all of the IP, the nonprofit side for the studio, for Lucelle Studios, and then basically, well, Big Picture World TV is an endless loop that never gets turned off, that speaks for itself. I am with my friend Danny Falcone over here, who had a very dark past life that he overcame. He has helped thousands of people, Mr. Rustler, like yourself, stay in sobriety. That's the work that he does now. He's at the top of all this with us and guided me forward. I'm sober for every day for the rest of my life. That also includes weed. I don't need to do anything to get the downloads that I get. I'm living in a never ending drug, and it's called Christ consciousness. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for helping me do this. I created the channel so we can host a yearly telethon. It's ours. And I've called out every single corporate film studio. I even went to Disney, filmed videos on their property. I did the same thing at Universal. So if the corporations don't show up to participate in this and give back some of their billions of dollars to a creative ecosystem to change everything overnight, then they are part of the problem. And I expect everybody in the world to show up in this. And Mr. Witherspoon's getting on, who owns connecttoyourcity.com. Him and Dion have blessed Big Picture World by creating a channel for us. And for those of you that weren't on the previous Zoom, you will get the other pieces of information from what I've talked about by watching that. And it was about 40 minutes long. So I'll share it with all of you after this. Thank you, Robert, since you've walked in this with me, since you're co-CEO of all of this. If you want to just share some of what you're thinking, and I know I just put a lot of energy at you guys. I'm sorry I'm at the end of what's been a very long 8-year journey, because Sydney and I have been building something in this manner for the last 8 years, and it finally culminated in the last 14 months. It's been a lot, and it's a lot to talk about for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's time for action. There's a big change that's coming, and it's inevitable. And the opportunity to be a part of it is very exciting. And I know we all have much to contribute, and that's what this is all about. It's about everybody utilizing their experience and their connections to bring all of this to fruition. So I'm very excited myself. There's still a lot of work to be done, and there's probably still a lot more questions. And as a team, I believe that we'll be able to get through this together and create change that's been a long time coming. So I know I have a lot to bring to the table. It's been yearning inside, and just the opportunity to come together with a great team that has been assembled here, I think it's appropriately called the big picture, because that's really where the change needs to come. And again, I'm excited, and I think there's been a lot of talk, and that's really necessary to get everything into sort of the place where we can take action. And that's where I'm at now. I'm ready to take some action.
Thank you, Robert. And our nonprofit, the main, basically nonprofit producing this is Barry Bogovich. His nonprofit's called Action Through Action. That was formed by Larry Franco, introducing Barry and I to one another in 2020, when I had bottomed my life out and Sid left me, and I had to put the pieces back together. And this is the culmination of all that work. It's a nonprofit rooted in a foundation to raise awareness for people working in entertainment with disabilities. And I believe mental health trauma is also a disability. So basically, that's the core. There's a Zoom that we had with Barry that I will also share with everybody. And Robert, you hit it spot on, man. And all the questions, I actually do have most of the answers for now. I've also held Moses and CJ and Michael and Malka accountable to participate in this. And this is not just about the money, but I was able in Ocala, Florida, Mr. Rustler, We reached an agreement to acquire and own the drive-in movie theater in the town that John Travolta lives in. And I found a real estate developer by the name of Louis Vigilati, who is building 300 current active projects, and he's got the financial side covered for everything we're doing in real estate with his investors. I have a recorded phone call with Michael Ursini. It's the last thing that's going to play on this loop. He has promised to move forward in structuring a non-depletion film fund with myself and the other leaders of Big Picture World Group. And well, a recorded call is everything. And quite frankly, that call will hold him accountable to move forward in what he promised to do to actually create a fund on a level to where no investment is at risk that should set art actually free. And that fund will be tied to the Troy DeVolld Foundation. That fund will also invest in nonprofit philanthropy events every single year that will be hosted on Big Picture World TV and promoted and marketed by Dion Provit and his channel and Mr. Larry Witherspoon, who has made all of this possible.
Well, through the adversity comes the triumph, and with the content and the storytelling is our ability to bring everything to light.
Thank you, Robert, for everything. Mr. Sheridan, do you want to share your insight? You superstar, you are a global superstar, and every movie I have to make, I'm with two of the leads of everything I do, including Pulp Fiction Presents The Pucks, which stars both you and Robert, and Martin, actually, the three leads of my film. Sydney's the other one. So if you just want to share, Dave, on some of your insight, because you've been around these waters. I know specifically you talked at length with me about people that you would want to involve in this once we got to that point. And they are some global faces. Share what you want, share what you don't want. But if you just want to take a minute, sir.
Well, ultimately, thank you guys for inviting me, and I'm glad to finally, on the Zoom here. And I think I speak for, I know Bill Boyd, I know Marty. Some of them are a little unclear of exactly what the whole thing is and how we're doing it. I get it, though. I get the big picture. The one thing I would just maybe toss out there is, you want to build an Empire State Building, but maybe we construct a really good log cabin first. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's the plan.
Like, because Will, nothing against you, but you're tossing out like, we're gonna have a cruise boat, we're gonna have a van, and we're gonna have this, and we're gonna start a golf course, we're gonna build boards.
So let me talk about that.
Hold on. Well,
I'm sorry.
I think if we all want you to succeed. We love the idea. I get what you're saying. I don't, and I would say this. You're ambitious because what you want to do, is it pertainable? Is it attainable? I'm not quite sure, but there's no reason not to try. You know what I'm saying? Because if we shoot for Mars and we land on the moon, well, we helped a lot of people. We got to a lot of people. So I don't know if you're going to change the world, but I understand the concept of.
Well, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm just trying to say, because you came in very late to this when you and I met. So I have done everything that I've talked about from literally this whole ecosystem. All of you are going to see that in a Canyon Country human experience deck that I even have dirt businesses. I got led down a path that I did not go and create for myself, Dave. I did not bring any of this in. It all got led to me. This 24-hour live stream is a bunch of recorded Zoom calls of all the leaders in these verticals, from video games to publishing. Jim Kruger's head of graphic novels. He's being honored at Comic-Con this year with the Lifetime Achievement Award. I built everything that I've talked about. They're not ideas. They are literally the foundations I was putting in place to run a new Paramount. That was the whole purpose. And I did it on a global level. God led me to people I've never met in person that are everywhere from Turkey to South Korea to Thailand and all of these different business verticals. None of you have to worry about any of those. That's why Sid and I are co-chair of what that nonprofit is that oversees all of those, because her and I did it over 8 years.
this is 8 years of business all in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Every year, all I want to do is a telethon connected to these specific foundations. So
But
don't worry about
I-
the rest. I
I'm
don't
not
mean to talk
worried.
about
I'm
everything.
talking-
It's who I am.
I'm not worried. I'm just saying, you look at a pyramid. Those are the rocks. Those are the bricks, right? And we have mortar that holds the bricks together to build
Yes,
this.
sir.
And ultimately, you have to start with a base. You got to start with, like, I want to knock one thing out of the park. Like, I want all of us to get let's do something. Let's combine the efforts and let's knock one thing out of the park. It'll lead to the success of the other things.
Spot on.
And ultimately, it's not like, really isn't about us.
It's not about us.
About the product that we're looking to put out there of this change. Yes, it opens up for the artists. Yes, it opens up for people in the industry. It's like, hey, I finally can now have my voice, or I can finally get through. And I really don't care about revealing the dark side of stuff, because that's there. And mostly people do know about it, but you can hear a guy sawing wood back here, and then my neighbor, and that my neighbor over here. Those are the people we really want to reach on a different level, on a level of their own lives. You know what I mean? They're not walking in Hollywood, but what we face in Hollywood is on steroids of what everybody faces in a corporate level, what everybody faces in the world. You know what I mean? It's a fallen world that we live in. So, ultimately, I'm so excited to do something, but I just want to, I work best if I'm focused on, like, this is what we're trying to do. One thing.
And that's why 100% agree entirely. Michael Orsini is the one that reined me in, because I did have so many things I was doing and had my hand and energy in. So he told me to pick one thing to focus on. I got given this book, Spontaneous Evolution, which is about biology and science. We partnered with Bruce Lipton and Steve Behrman, the authors of that. And the entire telethon is going to be focused around that book. And I don't have all the answers for all of this. This is not just about my voice. It's called The Big Picture because it was bigger than Sydney and I. That's why we called it that. And so you just hit every nail on the head, Dave. And this is the start of it all. I have to launch the channel. The channel showcases all the work of hundreds of people over the last 14 months. And it's rooted specifically, everything about Big Picture is rooted in education and philanthropy above entertainment and everything else. And we have a partnership with Pineywood School to build Big Picture World Studios on. And this telethon is the foundational launch of everything. And
Is
go ahead.
Pineywood Schools in Texas? Is that what you're talking about?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
There's a documentary on Hulu called Sacred Soil that showcases and is about the entire school. President Will Crossley of that school is our partner in all this. He's part of Big Picture World Group. He was the chief counsel for the Democratic National Committee when Barack was in the office. And then I've got other political connects. We have the entire world that will watch this and participate in it. We just collectively have to create what the plan's going to be that Mr. Boyd is going to oversee the direction of, along with some other co-directors in that aspect, like Mr. David McClendon. I brought in people that were way more established than myself. I didn't do any of it. God brought in people, the creator, that were way more established than I am, that have bigger voices and bigger platforms than I do. So I connected it all together for us to launch and produce. And we have the foundation in place behind the Canyon Country brand, the property that we have across the U.S. to host the telethon on in multiple locations with multiple leaders in those places. So there's nothing that we physically have to spend money on from a standpoint of the land to produce it or even the infrastructure. And this is about, I've specifically called out very large brands, and I have produced a campaign around that I've already filmed and shot that is going to be going to them. Robert Buell is one of our heads of advertising. Him and his family have owned an advertising agency since 1965. He's the head of that. I created an advertising company called Dream It, Create It, Live It that we all own, that everybody in Big Picture World Group makes up the corporate ownership shares of. That's going to be based in Venice. And that ad agency is the main foundation behind putting this forward every year. And a guy by the name of Sal Kakar, who I met through Lee Kaplan, who used to be one of the creative directors at Louis Vuitton. All Sal does is work with brands in fashion. So I went down to Miami and had meetings about this. I will connect everybody on one specific email on a BCC. I'm coming back to Los Angeles and move forward. This is the whole focus. And I shifted the dates from wanting to do this in July to doing it the week of the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, the end of August, which will launch the streaming platform to move all this forward.
So what are those dates again? What's the August?
The last week of August, 29th, is the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. So this will be a week-long event. And
Right.
then I've talked to RZA and Jay Ivy and TJ Loverboy, who is the son of my mom's best friend from childhood. His best friend is Chris Brown. Obviously, Jamie's friends with Taylor, Lana Del Rey. So I've created a global music festival that can happen as part of this telethon. And I needed runway to book that because RZA is on tour with Wu-Tang. And he's one of my main partners in all this, as are other members of the Wu-Tang Clan. So that's why I shifted everything to August 29th being the launch of the streaming platform, and that whole week being this telethon event.
So it'll start on the 29th. 29th is a Friday.
Let me pull up the day. That would be the last day of it. Let me look at the calendar to see what that week is. So August 29th is a Friday.
Yep.
So it would start Friday, August 22nd, and it would culminate on Friday, August 29th.
Perfect.
And that gives enough leeway for us to use our relationships to prep and plan this whole thing and to actually produce it so it lands. And Dave, I'm not just trying to focus on the dark side of Hollywood. That's not what I'm doing. That's not the point. But people that built this have been put through horrible public situations with people, and they're the core foundations producing it. We're tackling something more than just abuse. This is about homelessness. I announced everything in one press release, the only one I put out on November 8th, specifically about what this was supposed to be, that was going to be in February. And then the fires happened. So I had to delay everything, but I was already putting the pieces together for this telethon. We weren't going to launch anything or fund any IP until we did the telethon. So all the IP, everybody's content, that all gets made after this. But this is the core foundation every day moving forward that I'm coming back to Los Angeles to produce and work on. I have retired from film producing. I'm never making another movie ever again. I'm going out on Cutthroat City, connected to Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. That's why this is on August 29th in that week. I'm done. So this is all I want to do. Bill Boyd works, as you know, man, you introduced me. I want to do Jerry Lewis and industry.
You locked up, but you were
Freezing.
No, the Bill Boyd worked for Bill. You're on, right? It's like 30 years.
Bill, yeah. Will you take the floor? Sorry, Dave.
The Jerry Lewis telethons, the award shows, but mostly the telethons.
I'm gonna interject real quick if I can. I have to pick up my daughter right now at school, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. And with what was just said, the key to all of that is through the content is really putting out the light, and so we don't have to focus on exposing the dark. When you put the light out, the dark gets exposed organically, and that's where we come in with the content and the IPs. And once we start moving with these short films and we start telling these stories, we won't have to focus on dark or negative for that to get exposed. We're going to be sharing the light, man, and there's going to be some. I have a whole plethora of IPs of writer friends and other filmmakers and myself that we can't wait to integrate into the big picture. I'm sorry I have to jump off, but my 5-year-old needs her dad right now, and I love it, and I love
Thank you, Robert.
I love you guys. So have a blessed day and keep me posted, Will. Everybody have a
God
blessed
bless
day.
you. Thank you. And I want to add to what Robert said. For me, and I've been saying this in this doc and other things lately on Instagram, this is about peace, love, hope, prosperity, and above all else, forgiveness for the things we've been through, the people that have put us through those things. And ultimately, if we can approach everything through forgiveness, that equals love. And that is ultimately the core definition of God, the creator. Love will set us free. It always has, it always will. Mr. Boyd.
Hey,
Hello, sir.
hey, everybody. This is a nice little second meeting. I must say that I was never really treated badly by anybody in the industry, so I have no anger management thing, and I know that's not what this is about.
You're
But we,
here because you're taking the perspective you've done a lot of years of bullying, and so we need that other side.
I my attorney's here with me. I did not take a lot of years of bullying. I was never bullied, so I'm very fortunate, and I never did the bullying. But I always stuck up for the person being bullied. You know, everybody's coming out on the gay, lesbian. You know, we're all friends with everybody. We can all work together. There's been like a really weird outburst on, you know, half the people putting your films together or gay or lesbian or trans or whatever. Leave people alone. Let's employ who we can that knows what they're doing. It's most important. You have to know what, you know, you have to be qualified for the position. We can't just start throwing out positions. That being said, I'm very fortunate that I met Will through Dave. Will has a beautiful passion, and he has a beautiful heart, and I'll do whatever Will wants me to do. I worked at Jerry Lewis Telethon for 18 years. I could do a telethon with my eyes closed, but once we sit down and format that on meeting the 18 people that are involved and doing little stories, if you know how telethons work, they repeat a lot of the material because not everybody's watching for 21 hours. It's the same aspect as your host only has to do it for 3 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
They can change out your host every 4 times, and 24 hours is, you know, and then you bring your original host back at the end. I mean, depending on how long it is, the Jerry Lewis Telethon went from 24 hours down to 21 hours. So maybe it doesn't have to be a 24-hour thing, but a lot of that stuff was pre-recorded.
That's what I was saying.
We would have had, you know, 10 or 12 hours of pre-recorded stuff from going Jerry throwing, let's go see Fleetwood Mac. And then Fleetwood Mac would send us, you know, a 4-minute clip. So it gave us a 4-minute break to change a set, to do something. So you almost have to spread those little playback things out enough to where you can change what's happening live.
Yeah.
Even if you're trying to go to 2 different or 3 different locations live, like Dave said, we should keep it a little simple and try to go to 1 location live, maybe 2, but be prepared for the second or the first one not to operate, knowing that we can ping pong back from the 2. So, I mean, we're not that far along to where we've broken down what's in each hour telethon, but there's ways to break it down to where everybody gets a break. Because none of you guys should work the full 21 hours. You know, I did it in the old day, you know, I started that show I started with Jerry. It was well underway. It was like 94, 95 was my first Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon. And, you know, I was so excited. I stayed up the whole 24 hours. But was I productive? I don't know, you know. So that's why you got a backup person. So you can almost swing shifts. It's a bear, and it's a big thing to take on. The most important thing is the content. That being said, I'm going to get off, and my attorney says I've said too much already.
Well,
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. And Martin, thank you.
Will, it's like
work.
you're trying to roll like short films and other things like that as well. So, right.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And so, sorry, I was going to say, Dave, the plan, basically, I want to do these 72 global short films rooted in having each of the master recordings that are controlled by Don Bennett, Henry Vaccaro with the estate. And they wanted me to basically produce that forward and get them set up. So I have basically connected this all together with one vision. I'm sending out stuff that's been worked on for months. That's about everything I'm talking about visually. That's very, very structured out, Dave, as a pyramid. I asked Darren,
You know,
who's been doing
before
doing
you
that.
before you say anything else, Will, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's a great idea actually to do a 24-hour film festival, and you almost fund those people that have
That's
inserted those films. But that's almost what it's got to be about. It can't be about, so maybe there's a way to do it, and within 24 hours, you could vote for a winner in that 24th hour.
so.
It's
Can
it's
I?
almost, it's
So
almost high end
Bill, let Will, let me,
funniest home videos.
so this is all in what I'm sending you guys. I went home to Florida. We're hosting a film festival in Ocala, Florida, an actual film festival. Holden Schneiders, who's on this call, is hosting the comedy festival. I've put
Yeah,
that together. That's the week-long event. It
absolutely
starts with the
competition.
telethon. Everybody's in one place. It's in Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi. That's where the RVs are for, Dave, for Mercedes to get everybody around. And it literally starts at one place and goes to the next and then culminates in a music festival. And so all that's mapped out. Bill's spot on. That's what it is. And these 72 films, we're also going to use new filmmakers. Rose Bennett, she's just going off the film school, college she's starting. She's working on this first. She's going to direct one of these. Yeah, I'll come in a second, Danny. We're all going to create every aspect of this together. I just had to build the foundation. The foundation's built. The channel launches. And moving forward, it's everything that we're collectively talking about doing in every single way. And this was not something I was going to lead and create and be like, this is what we're doing. I wanted to create the elements to create in. And that's what we've created, quite frankly.
thanks, Will. Bill, hold your thought, Bill, because he tapped in and he introduced Holden here, and Holden, why don't you take the stage here a minute and tell us everything that you're doing and how we can work building on.
So similarly to how Bill was just describing a film festival style competition where people could vote and that would be a part of the telethon. The original idea would be that for film, music, and comedy. So little broken down competitions, or not even necessarily competitions, but more of a showcase where people in the comments, I mean, that's how the world works. They're going to make it a competition. They're going to fund the people they want to support, even though the whole idea is to support all of the art. They're going to end up, some people are going to probably draw more donations than others, but it could be filmmakers with their ideas, showcasing their film. That could potentially get a donation and is like, oh, this film was great. I liked this. Send a donation for that. More films go down the line. Then a music thing starts. People can do music videos, maybe live performances, a mix of different things that we haven't really fully coordinated yet.
Yeah,
And then the same
definitely live performances, and maybe hey, the whole thing would be also great. Just having trailers, bring us back from commercial break and take us to commercial break, because obviously you want to sell some commercial time while we're doing it. I don't think we want to do it nonstop.
But
something that might be interesting. Sorry, continue.
Can I just get some more information about the Ocala stuff?
What slides do you want?
Cheese. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Pepperoni. My attorney wants a vegetarian.
Yeah.
I'm at Danny's restaurant. Sorry. Dave, what were you just saying?
I'm holding to back it up and talk more about like exactly what he's doing right now with the Ocala Film Festival and the traveling.
I'm personally not tied to that. I was just going to be coordinating comedians. I was just more going over the main idea of like what each different showcasing element would be. Because it would be the film festival section, the music section, as well as comedy. Doing like comedians going up, doing a handful of bits. Like a Hollywood style showcase is 1 to 2 minutes.
Listen, Dave and I know some of the biggest comics on the planet.
We know.
Hey, can I interject for a second, guys?
Yeah, please.
So that could be another element.
I have a quick question, real quick for Mr. Holden. And then I want to say a couple things. One, Holden, are you in Atlanta?
Yes, I am in Atlanta.
Okay, so thank you for giving me that information. If we're talking about doing stuff on the 29th of August, we're doing another event in Atlanta August 31st called the Ass Kicking Chicken Bowl, and I can go over some of the details with that. I would like to talk to you maybe off the Zoom call to see if we can incorporate maybe your location, your venue for that event specifically. And because the person who's putting on the event is called Magee TV. Magee TV is his channel. It's also on Connect Your City. So I would like to talk to you about that if that's okay.
No problem. This video in particular is probably busy on that date, but I know a bunch of other ones that might even be more accommodating than this one for what you need it for. But we will definitely talk more about it after this. And who knows, it could be available. I'm not sure at this moment.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I do want to say this. Larry just put into the chat a link to a telethon that we're doing this weekend on the 7th. So I think that might help to understand how we want to format what we're going to be doing with this telethon that we're doing, because it's something that's already happened. We have actually 4 different telethons that I know of that we're going to be executing over the next 4 months. So I'm excited about what we're doing. I want to make sure that we get it done and accomplish it, in a great grandiose style. So anything that I can do and I can help and we can at Connect Your City can do to help, I'm very happy to do so.
Thank you, Dion. And Dave, to circle back on the film festival side that you were asking, I got everything set up to host that at the Ocala Drive-In and the World Equestrian Center and the local theaters in town. My partner, Jordan Johnson, who's my partner on the real estate side, who I met the real estate developer with. Jordan is friends and coaches the mayor's son in basketball. So I'm going to be having a meeting with the mayor. I didn't want to have that meeting until I had all of this in place. So I've already contacted the mayor's office. I have the foundation. I'm obviously doing Pulp Fiction, the series. Travolta lives in Ocala. So that's a meeting, Dave, I would like to actually have with you, in addition to putting together the film festival side with Mr. Robert Russler, because that's what we've talked about. And then I want to start promoting that now.
You have
because
are they on the same dates as this other August 29th, or are they completely separate?
It's multiple venues and locations around Ocala.
I know, but are we talking the last week of August still, or is this?
I'm talking the film festival would start the week prior. I want to give you guys the information. This is the prep for what you're receiving for me that's already done and everything's earmarked out. So we either do the festival the week leading into this and it's a 2-week film festival, or we start the film festival the same week that we're doing all of this since everybody's in the same place. I didn't want to make those decisions as a solo individual because this is not about me and me literally deciding what's what. This is a collective, unified vision.
Okay. My thought on film festivals and Holden, are you're working on film festivals there? Like Holden, what do you have? You just
comedy festival.
Comedy festival side. Yeah.
It takes time to film festivals have a good 1.5 year lead to get the submissions, to get the stuff to so how are we getting this up in 2 months?
I'm launching literally all of this, Dave, this week, including the site to submit films on a contact. I've already respectfully, and I gotta say, and I know you're doing this because you're at the high level, bro, this is all I do, man. I played the character of producer for 20 years. I've produced the absolute heck out of all of this. I sacrificed my life to do it. I had to be homeless to do it. I walked in it. I've prepped the entire thing. My intention was to do all of this in February. I just hadn't announced the elements. I have the entire leadership team to do the festival. Becky Dalda, Josh Frazen, who's Rachel Winter's freaking brother. They host a South African festival every year. I have the whole team and infrastructure, and we're launching a streaming platform. So I'm pretty sure outside of the corporate Hollywood system, getting submissions that potentially can be acquired and distributed on said platform are not going to be an issue. We just have to launch it. If you build it, they will come. So I'm not being combative or anything. I'm just saying everything's in place. I had to launch it into reality because I created it already with a lot of people, man.
I've been involved with a lot of film festivals, and 2 months isn't enough time.
We could do the festival then the end of September, and all this can promote that. I mean, that's fine. Don't get caught up in the minutia. The whole purpose of all this is the charitable philanthropy telethon side. And this can lead into it.
It's so much, just because we're so new, we need that 6 months of advertising beforehand. We can't just come out 2 months beforehand and expect to sell out a product or have people even watch a product.
So you're right. So let's do this. Let's focus on the film festival then be next year and this being the whole launch to promote all of that and receive everything.
Exactly. I think during the telethon, we're going to roll short films and we're going to roll stuff like that. And that would promote the film festival because we'll have the logo up. We'll have the thing.
Spot on.
You know what I mean?
Totally agree with you. And then that way we have a year lead up. Stuff will be ready at that point for Lucille Studios too in Ocala.
Then you're sitting on a successful event. You know, it's a crapshoot if we try to do it and get people to make phone or plane flights and
100%. Thank you, Danny.
People can't even get that time off, you know.
You're 100% correct.
Bill, you don't know this, but Rubber Larry, do you know who Rubber Larry is?
No, I introduced him to you. Yeah, I know who he is.
I know you know Rubber Larry. I'm talking to Will.
Oh, I thought you said Bill.
I don't know. Wait, who's Rubber Larry?
Larry,
you know, he could be great for this thing.
Yeah, but Rubber Larry is a silicone artist that does Brad Pitt, John Travolta, Johnny Depp, who's John Wick, you know, whatever.
Keanu.
Keanu Reeves. We could do the funniest fucking dating game.
I love that Dave just forgot Keanu Reeves' name. That's funny.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, like he does exact masks of these guys where he goes to conventions and he finds guys that are about the right build, like an actor. So they asked me to do like Nicolas Cage, but I wasn't available. But and I remember Jamie Kennedy one year did Keanu, walked around as Keanu. You could walk up a foot and not know. So you have
thank you.
And so you're talking about the John Travolta and the
Jamie Kennedy.
You want to eat out here? Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy and I went into a pitch meeting at Jimmy Kimmel Live with Rubber Larry wearing the Keanu Reeves mask. And they went into Jimmy Kimmel's office going, yeah, it's Bill, Jamie, and Keanu Reeves.
It's pretty funny stuff. So I'm just saying, when you're talking about the Ocala thing and you say that John Travolta's down there, if he has a good sense of humor, since we probably can't count on him to shoot a bunch of stuff, it would be funny to have somebody playing him. No, but that would be sort of funny and add in a way. So.
That would be awesome. And Dave, thank you both for recalibrating my mind on this. Doesn't have to be everything all at once as it relates to the festival. I've just been so focused on making sure this telethon could happen. I had combined everything in one actual vision, but that vision can be continued in the next year because quite frankly, we could do the telethon next year too to lead into the festival and actually plan that correct.
And this is what I was speaking about earlier about building a really strong log cabin to then building our pyramid to then the Empire State Building and then the city on the hill. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. So the log cabin launches the telethon. We can put that together between now and August. And sorry for the church bells.
And we can run little clips. Dave and I have little short films. It's a 21-hour thing. We can submit old stuff, you know, and call them classics, you know, just to mix it up like, you know, America's Funniest Home Videos.
Can I just take a moment to tell a funny story that happened this weekend?
No, absolutely not. We're done with you, Dave.
Bill, because Bill, you were there. You're actually the one that told me about it. So there was a convention this weekend in Pasadena called Monster Palooza. And I have a movie that I produced called Quasi. They have a film festival on Friday night, like it's short films, and then there's a feature, and they asked to have the trailer of Quasi play on Friday. And my editor sent over the Google Drive with the Quasi link, but on the Google Drive, the guy was looking through it and he saw some of my other shorts. And I didn't know there's a Macho Man Randy Savage short that I did. And Bill was at the thing. I wasn't there Friday night, and Bill was at the thing, and he was taking photos, going, "You didn't tell me this was going to play. You didn't tell me this was playing." And apparently, it was this huge hit because I only put it up on. I'd never even put it on YouTube, to be quite honest. The crowd was going crazy for it, and then hold on, Bill. I saw the owner of the Bill. Remember when Elliot on Saturday when I met Elliot, the owner of the whole con. And Elliot was like, and he didn't know who I was. And then Bill was like, he's the guy that played Macho Man Randy Savage last night in the little short film. And he's like, oh yeah. And he goes, that looked really good. The crowd loved it. And he goes, I can't wait to see the whole movie. It was like a film.
You need to star in the biopic on Savage, Sheridan.
But no, that's why I said we play these
trailer.
That's why I said we play these little trailers go in and out of commercial. Yeah. That would be one of them.
Spot on. Mr. Kleba, thank you for writing this all out with me. I know I was having to do some stuff that was slightly uncomfortable for a couple days, but I wanted to thank you for introducing me to Raphael, who I've never connected with any agent ever the way I did him. And just thank you for believing in me when you didn't know me, sir.
It's all good. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see me or no?
We can see you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My pants are off, so if you want to see that, but
I thought you were. Yeah. We're doing like a Jeffrey Tambor, like, you know, something else with us the whole time. I'm like, what is he doing? Yeah. And I also thought you were Danny DeVito. Marty, I thought it was Danny DeVito. I go, damn, we got Danny DeVito with those glasses.
Danny DeVito, oh yeah, with my glasses. Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. Hey Dave, I love working with you, and so nothing against Will, but whatever Dave's up to, I'm down with doing, because I had such a great time working with him out in this fucking Michigan Renaissance Festival. And
fun.
I mean, even though I was popping pills to our director left and right, fuck.
You're happy to be around Dave.
I'm not going to name the director, but I collect pills because I injure myself left and right, and I'll get these Vicodins. I never take them, and somebody came up going, "Hey, I'm not gonna say his name, but the guy was looking for pills, and do you have any? Because he needs some pain pills." I go, "Yeah, I've got like 30 Vicodin. I keep stuff even after it's expired. My wife's worked for the pharmaceutical companies for years and says that expiration date is on a high level. Just manufacturing, they last forever as long as they keep them out of the light." And I was like, "Yeah, here's 30. You know, here they are, but they're expired. So I don't know how strong they are." The next day, that guy came to me. He's saying, "Hey, do you have any more?"
TMI, Dave.
And
TMI.
wait. I went, "I gave you 30.
TMI.
He took
this is the stuff. This is the stuff I'm trying to change.
That's when I knew. That's when all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, we got." That's not normal.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Well,
oh, man.
I'm down with you guys. It's just,
there was Martin Scorsese. I said I wasn't going to say his name, but
I love it. Hey, just real quick, because I didn't get to do this on the previous Zoom. Fernando, will you let my amazing friends here know some of your background, since they don't know who you are? And also, Fernando,
I only know you from the ABBA song.
And Fernando's overseeing basically the indigenous side of what we're doing. Danny Falcone, who I'm with, is True Crime. All the IP, I've got IP gatekeepers. Fernando is one of them. So, and we met at the Canyon Country store. Fernando, who are you, sir?
Like I've told Will, you know, I'm a native son of LA. And most recently, I've been invited to Hollywood for the past couple of years. To be a part of this first ever Hollywood Arts Collective, aka the Actors Fund, you know, the Entertainment Community Fund, and it's been a ride, you know, to say the least, for the last couple of years. You know, one of my sort of chi places to unwind and get myself together is the Country Store up in Laurel Canyon. And you know, to draw from all the magic there. Basically, you know, I'm part of a Native American, you know, casting group who does, what we're doing here, Nuance, who does whatever we can, whenever we can in the next season and year to get ourselves on set and get ourselves working a little bit. I'm a performer by trade, I'm an actor's actor, this whole experience being in Hollywood has been, to say the least, it's unbelievable. I mean, I can't describe it, but this is my big deal. So don't mess it up, guys. Okay?
Never. And this entire event also launches the Canyon Country Everything Experience and what Tommy Bina wanted to do globally. Um, so that's one of the presenting partners of all of this. And everybody on this call is an owner in the hotel group. Every business, the fashion agency. I created something that were corporations overseen by artists. And my partner in fashion is Power from the Wu-Tang Clan, along with Rocco Nugent, Ted's son. Video games, Dave. I mean, it's massive, massive people. I got led to all the final oracles in business for one collective ecosystem. And so we all run and own the corporations together. We all run and own and oversee the nonprofits together. And that will never change. And it's a co-everything structure, co-chairmans, co-CEOs, co-presidents, co-VPs, co-secretaries from an actual board standpoint. And strength in numbers unified together, divine masculine and feminine, like Rustler says, and it's globally. There's an entire international team, and the leaders of that international team already produce international film festivals. So all the structure and foundations in place. I'm sending the visuals to everyone, and please enhance them once you see them. This is not about me having a vision that's finalized. This is about us collectively together doing something to change everything overnight once it happens. And it will have sustainability behind it because we have sustainable verticals that are hundreds of years old.
Hey, Will, you mind if I interject real quick? Just
Please.
before I break, because it sounds like everybody's about to get off this phone. So I just want to, because I don't know how many people exactly. I know Will has looked at Connect Your City and its capabilities and what we're bringing to the table, but I want to just keep people's minds open because Connect Your City is in 196 different countries. When we launch, when we broadcast something, we're not just broadcasting it on. Just off of somebody's website. We're putting it on Roku. We're putting it on Amazon Fire. We're putting it on Disney. I'm sorry, Apple TV. We're putting it on multiple networks across the world. We have channels over in Africa right now. We have channels in Canada. We have channels all over the place. And it's only growing. And with that being said, we have a lot of stuff that's going on with these networks. For instance, uh, the ass kicking chicken ball I was telling you about. This is one example of a tailgating experience that we're bringing to the college campuses all across America this year. Right now, this year, we're broadcasting at all these different places, different locations, bringing awareness to them. We're tackling and really bringing structure to name, image, and likeness. I see you have a lot of people talking about it when it comes to sports, but really, any form of entertainment can fall under these guidelines of name, image, and likeness. And so we have over several channels that are geared towards that. We have specific niche channels that are taking people's ideas, just like what Will's talking about, and being able to provide the structure, the workability, and the ability to work with a lot of these different businesses, corporations, whether they're big or small, the top businesses, top corporations, all the way down to the smallest mom and pop business. So I encourage us to really dive into that. I look forward again to working with you guys. But we have a lot going on, and we also partner with the Motown Alumni Association. We're working with a lot of the children's. We have a lot of programs for children, so programs all the way around, and it's really the foundation of what we do at Connect Your City is we take private industry and we use it to solve public issues. So these are a lot of stuff that we're talking about right now on these phone calls. And I encourage you guys to go check it out. especially the link that Larry just sent into the chat, because that's the telethon that we're doing this weekend.
Yeah,
Let
I'll
me correct one thing and just say, God bless you for what you're doing for the children. And everything you're doing for the children should be first. Our thing is second.
That's what all of this is about, man. I wanted to put it all on the line and leave the film ministry if I had to, because the work I can do at Pineywood School, and also the kids, man. Wu-Tang's for the children. I've learned from my mentors and my relationships, and children are sponges. I think we can create a better environment for the next generation and a literal safe haven that actually gives back instead of takes from every kid. And by the time they become adults, drugs and alcohol and everything else are the only answers. I'm sure everybody on this has battled those demons at some point, and it almost destroyed my life. But I
Yeah,
had
but
somebody. Sorry, I was going to say I had someone who believed in me that guided me through that, but she basically lost part of her soul because of the trauma that went around it. And so I'm done following. All I want to do is lead, and that's all I've been doing for the last year and a half. So thank you for the safe space to do that in.
absolutely. But and I really appreciate everything you guys just said. I just want to let it be known that with the type of star power that I've been seeing on these Zoom calls, just alone, just this one right here alone, we have events that we can partner up with, guys, that we're already doing. So we're talking about a merger. I encourage you guys to look into some of those things. Reach out to me. I appreciate it if you did, so we can get the ball rolling on the integration that we're putting together right now.
Where are you based out of? Where are you based out of?
Or Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
connect your cities here as well. So Will's
I was
supposed to be coming out here, I think today or tomorrow.
I leave in the morning with Danny. Danny's driving me to Phoenix. Dion, I have everything on a hard drive. That's the easiest way to do it. I'm just going to bring it to you tomorrow.
Marty,
Sweet.
You still in Michigan?
No, sir. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee. All right. I know a guy that does pop signings out of Nashville, though.
It's only 3 hours away.
Have you done Whatnot? Have you done Whatnot?
I've done Whatnot. I think it was in Texas.
Texas. This is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
He's in Nashville. He'll fly you in, even though it's 3 hours drive down.
Yeah, I'll drive over.
Give you a guarantee, and you do do your pops.
Yeah.
Prior to the
I got the
Caribbean.
new one. I got the Grumpy, and I got the Herman from the new the Electric State with Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah. Okay. We've been texting, so text me to remind you that, because I'll connect you guys. You can do that in the next 2 months, something like that, and get it like $5,000, from them.
Don't show Will those naked pictures I was drawing of him, though. Okay.
Dave.
That's right. You could hear me.
I didn't know you were that good of an artist. I didn't know.
Dave. Well, hey man, hey, you never know. Dave, thank you for knowing who I am and literally getting me to the end of this. I knew when you brought Bill in and you were doing that Whatnot signing, I didn't see what I was walking into. And just thanks for being such a guiding gift in my life at the end of what was a very long road, because you validated me stepping into something that I didn't know I was going to have to step into.
Yeah. Actually, now it's odd that I just mentioned the Whatnot, because that's I don't know, Holden, if you know what Whatnot is, or Dion left, but Holden, do you know what it is?
I think I'm unfamiliar. Describe it.
A live auction platform.
Live.
That's right. Yeah.
Where where individuals get their own channel, and then they sign live, like this.
Okay, I have seen that. Yeah, before I have seen that.
And maybe there's a way to work this into that telethon in some way. That could be a way to get some bigger. This guy, he just had Mel Gibson. He just had Mel Gibson last week in Nashville. You know what I mean?
On Whatnot, Melwin did a Whatnot. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Snoop Dogg is doing Johnny. Snoop Dogg, Johnny. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned Snoop. So one of our partners producing this is Kiefer Moore, who runs Death Row Films, and he manages Snoop's day to day at the compound. So Kiefer's part of this as well. I just couldn't get everybody on it. Judah Johnson also, who is part of an ownership group of a restaurant with Leo DiCaprio. So I brought in all the friends of all the global oracles, and that's the crew putting this whole thing forward. So This is
Well,
all on the deck.
Hey,
but
let me
saying
just
what
say
not
one
what?
more thing real quick,
Yeah.
if you guys don't mind. Because I want to just because you when you were talking about like the like a competition between the videographers or directors, and I'm like, well, I want to just say this one thing because I was telling you about it earlier, and I think this might be highly impactful. So we just did our first event with the Motown Alumni Association, the workshops and the artist showcase. And so we educated artists on AI integration and having their songs properly registered so they get paid off for their streaming. So now, and then after that, we had a competition with the artists. We had about 6 performers, and because of how, because I want to change this whole one winner type mentality. There can be only one, but no, the way I did my business model is working on this, and the way we're presenting it. What I did was I ended up giving all 6 of those artists global song marketing. We don't want to call it distribution because it sounds like a competition. So we're literally taking one of their songs and we're each of those artists and we're marketing them for 3 months straight. So every last one of them won. Every last person. So we're giving out over $90,000 worth of marketing and advertising to these artists who would have never had that type of reach before.
You, you can't give every kid a trophy, you know. You can maybe do, you know, every
You can give them a platform. You can give them a platform. If it's not, I see what you're saying. If everyone has the prize, they're not getting money. They're getting the exposure to if it's worth them being in that position.
But
It will lead.
you don't make that the prize. You don't make performing on a show the prize.
No. In this particular case, guys, okay, so everybody has more than one song. We're marketing one song for these artists. We have services that we have available, and we have resources available for them
You're selling a battle of the bands.
Yeah, it's kind of that way.
Yeah, it's not. I got you. It's not new, but I
No,
mean,
it's not new, but
the bands, or you know, you got to pick one of 4 genres per hour, or per ever 3 hours or something.
well,
I
yeah, it's
think
a little bit different format than what you guys are talking about with a
I
telethon. So that's what I'm telling you. Like maybe it's an idea that'll work for you guys, but
Yeah, I get it.
think it's similar to more like American Idol more than a battle of the bands because it's not. There is really one real winner of American Idol. They get the most exposure out of everything.
yeah,
But there's
exactly.
That's
really good,
actually
Oh, that's
really good
true.
every
Some
year
of the
get
runners
the
up
limelight.
gotten the most exposure. That's
Exactly.
what
true.
I wanted to
They're
add
really
one thing.
exactly.
Sorry, hold it. What'd you say? And then I want to share something about the
I was
Jackson
just gonna
5
say
specifically.
that they would get more exposure naturally because if they all get the same outlet, all things equal, people are going to pick their favorites. People are going to fall into a different niche, and someone will end up winning that. You know what I mean? I agree that they should maybe get more of a definitive first place than everyone getting the same thing and letting the crowd decide who deserves the most flowers.
There's been
I
winners that have come on second place.
So
First place.
talking about, well, there could actually be more than one winner in what we're talking about. This is crazy because I wasn't going to bring this up, but you guys just unlocked it. One of the main things that Don Bennett, Henry Vaccaro, Reverend Sam Harris have talked about doing with the partnership that they have on the IP they control, which on our platform, once this is executed, we will be distributing the Jackson 5 Variety Series because that's part of the Masters. They wanted to take the unreleased Masters and create a new wave of Jackson 5 music, a group that doesn't just do the Jackson 5 songs.
Hey, that's a whole licensing thing. You know, they're having
No. It is, but
they're having a problem right now with releasing the biopic. They're redoing shoots.
this isn't Michael. This is a different, that's why I'm not going to talk about this because it's not my place to.
I agree.
But the conversations that got brought up were tailored around something specifically in the manner of what you guys are talking about, that when the time comes, when we're all together, Don and Henry and Sam will speak on that because that is their vision. But what you're saying could be implemented into that for next year, with what we're talking about as it relates to next year's situation with the film festival also.
Right.
Thank you, Bill, for stopping me.
Can I toss two things in that ties up the 3 or 4 things we just talked about? One is, first of all, with the Jerry Lewis telethon, as Bill knows, they had unknowns on all the time. You had unknown. In fact, Bill, you played as Craigslist the band. So I love this being a place where we're going to have Jack Black. We're going to have myself. We're going to have people,
Totally. And filmmakers now,
I get it. Bill, let me talk. And the idea of having like this unknown platform and, like with Dion and then there is some sort of award and stuff for those people, you know what I mean, in this telethon. And obviously we'll have like the short films or some trailers that basically just promote next year's film festival. I think the one element that I haven't heard is the social media element of the influencers. And when we start getting into the new acts, the new generation of people that could come on this telethon, I do think that we probably all need to sort of pull our connections and go, who are these, what other influencers can we get on to sort of be the host part of the new generation acts?
So,
you know what I mean?
so everything I built was in a found. Nope.
Hold on, Holden, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'll let Will finish first. Continue, Will.
So what I should have opened with was everything that Joey Stanton. So Joey's my manager. He's the one that guided all this chaos for 14 months. Very prominent individual, former agent. He brought in and partnered with me and Griffin Johnson. So Griffin's got 11 million followers on TikTok. I brought in King Batch with 25. They're the heads of the Gen Z division. The platform and the launch and part of what you guys will see is this whole thing is rooted in Gen Z. Specifically talent that are at the top of this that already have major brand and advertising deals that get offered stuff on a daily basis that Joey has to manage. So Dave, Griffin Johnson and King Batch are two of the hosts of this as well.
Perfect.
Along with you. I just couldn't get them on this due to the time and the crunch. But they're part of this. King Batch was at the dinner with everybody to put the money together. And then Griffin is the star in the movie opposite you, Robert, and Martin. He's the lead.
So I did a film, to let you guys know, I did a movie in Nigeria with a Nigerian filmmaker. I was the only American actor with all Nigerian personalities that were TV and film personalities in Nigeria. Nigeria has like a little bit of a Bollywood going on over there. And I had no idea they were so funny, these Nigerian comedians. And then they showed me their Instagram accounts and stuff like that. And they had 10 million followers and 6 million followers. And so they're actually sort of world famous. And the prince, it was a prince of Nigeria. He lives in LA.
Amazing.
So,
wow.
He could be somebody that we bring in on this for the world stage part of it. You know what I mean? And have like a moment with these Nigerian comedians.
100%, bro. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Dave. That's why I built it with partners in every basically vertical across the world, not just here, because you're spot on. I've met a couple people. This one guy who was from South Africa. We start talking. I'm like, oh man, you on Instagram? I go look him up. It was like 22 million followers. I'm like, this is crazy. So
I've met a couple of Ukrainian Bert Kreischers that are bigger than anyone I've ever met.
Connected to that guy this week to start, that connection going.
Amazing.
All right.
Cool.
And also looping back into discovering new talent hosts, things like that. Something that a connection I might be able to implement later is I work really closely with Comedy 360 and Keenan Presents, which is Keenan Thompson's talent search agency, essentially.
I know who
what he does. Yeah, what his business partner Cherie will do is curate rising talent stars across the country, starting from 13. She has a 13 to 17-year-old category too, so there could be an actual children's talent competition as well with actually star developed talent. But there's also developing comedians as well as other live entertainers to be MCs, hosts, things like that, and it really is just a full-on development circuit of the new talent. And I have a direct connection. I work with them regularly. I do the show. They do shows here sometimes. I've done the shows, and the people that they have put on, we've done Vegas showcases. with entirely unknowns, full shows of unknowns, where the audience was left in awe of how much talent was in the building. And these were Vegas showcases in front of thousands of people, strictly unknowns on Jimmy Kimmel stages.
That's amazing.
And that, for comedy wise, that's the beautiful part about comedy and music. The talent within the unknown is almost more awe inspiring.
Yep.
Because then you get the connection of, is like, I found him. I'm the reason he's doing well. I saw his live performance at 2 a.m. on the telethon, or something equitable.
And that's what in the overview I'm sending you guys, there's a bunch of the next generation of artists that I've discovered and I've tracked and kept in touch with. So I've got about 40 to 50 men and women made up from music to comedy that I want to showcase on what this is. So thanks for bringing all that up, Holden and Dave.
Cool.
Hey, just quick question. The content you guys are talking about, can we bring that to Connect Your City or?
Absolutely. The reason I thought of that is because as soon as you said that, I was like, I need to connect you with them as well, because they probably would like to work out of some of the venues you work with, and they'd probably want to incorporate more of a festival element, because they've done festivals where it's more. I think the first thing they actually did in Atlanta a few years ago, when they tried to bring everything back, this was 3 years ago, is they just produced an impromptu comedy and music festival. It took them 2 months. People thought the turnaround was too fast. They decided, it was like, these are the venues we have, these are the local talent we can acquire, and they just produced a food truck, music, and comedy festival over the whole weekend, and industry talent to do like workshops and stuff.
So I would definitely love to talk to you about that.
Yeah. I'll shoot you my number after this as well.
So yeah. I put my number in the chat, bro, because we're probably going to be doing, and we can use these workshops and artist showcase that I'm talking about, because I've done one already. I just did it this past Saturday, so I plan on doing at least 2 more before the telethon is even launched in August. So that being said, like, we can use it as another place to advertise and talk about as a partner with the event itself, to link everything together. So I put my number in the chat, bro. I appreciate if you reach out to me.
Yeah, go ahead and connect right now.
And it goes for everybody. Like, I would love to have some celebrity presence in the building when we're doing our next showcases. Maybe be a judge.
Is it always down in Arizona?
No, sir. I've already got people in Vegas that want me to do it out there, Atlanta, Baltimore, and Atlantic City.
Okay, cool.
So we just did our first one. It was just a pilot, and everybody, I got that kind of a response. So I would love to get with you guys, especially you, sir.
I hate to interrupt, Leon. I hate to interrupt. The 3 cities you just listed. Oops, sorry, can you hear me? My thing's just disconnected.
Yeah.
All right. The 3 cities you just listed: Arizona, Atlanta, Baltimore. I'm born in Arizona, from Baltimore. That's where I grew up. Moved to Atlanta.
Wow.
The connectivity of everything. Literally everything.
You have horrible audio for that great backdrop.
I know. These friggin' earbuds just died on me.
On your microphone, is this an orifice interview?
Yeah, let me
try. I wanted to add to Sheridan.
Just tossing this out to Dion. For me, and I'll make sure I have your number, and we'll text each other. You just give me, like, if you give me 2 months ahead or a month ahead. But what it is, and Marty does the same thing. Him and I, we do a lot of conventions where and that's where I reconnected with Will by chance in Vegas. But I'll be in Phoenix in December. I'll be in Atlanta in February. I'll be wherever else you just said. Baltimore November 9th. Baltimore, I'll be there November 9th. So it's sort of like I'm always all over. And so it would almost be like if I knew a date that you're doing in a city that I'm already going to be in, or a city that I can go, I can go there for this already. You know what I mean? And kind of 1-2 punch it sort of thing. And so.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
That'd be fun.
And Dave, oh, sorry, Dion.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I just, when we're talking about a lot of the stuff that we have already done, because to keep this in mind too, guys. I want that support. I would love it for you guys. I'll let you know exactly when we're doing things. Please utilize my number. Just text me once, and I'll be able to start communicating with you guys. But connect your city. Just getting back to this stuff. There's a lot of content that's already been created. We need content, so don't forget that as we merge, because we have over 212 channels, broadcasting networks. So we really utilize every channel, any channel we want to. We can launch these things on 25 channels at one time.
How many subscribers? How many views do you have?
So on average, my channel is being seen about 500,000 times a month. Connect Your City has an extensive. Well, we have more. The last time I checked, we were definitely over. What was it, Will? 80 million viewers.
Yep.
Yeah, over 80 million viewers on Connect Your City, but it's actually growing because, when I came on to Connect Your City, it was only 110, 115 channels. Now we're at 212. So, and growing. So it's just,
The whole, where's the whole studio broadcasting thing based out of?
our home base is here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Got it. Okay.
But we have servers all over the world.
All right, got it. Because I knew a
We
guy
have studios
building
all
a
over the world.
base in Atlantic City.
And that's what I was wanting to not interrupt Dion and talk to you about, Dave. So we have a facility that Melanie Feliciano and Rasta Thomas brought in that they're part of running. And that's going to be the home of our College of Media in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And the sports side is in Atlanta. So you and I got to take a trip out to Jersey because
Do you know if a guy named Paul D'Angelo is involved in that? Because he has a studio there. He's part owner of the Oceans Casino Hotel.
That sounds very familiar. This is right on the water on the Atlantic City Strip. And you're literally the face of the College of Media since you're from Jersey, and that's where we're doing it. I've been talking to Austin Zajor, who just got engaged to Harley Quinn Smith, Kevin's daughter, because Kevin's a friend, obviously the Jersey roots. And then Shaq works with Dink Pate. I try to have Dink's aunt on this call because Shaq's been narrating the doc on Dink's life, but Shaq's also from Jersey. That's why it's College of Sports and Media. So we'll do that call at some other time. But that's one of the main, because I wanted a college to go alongside Piney Woods, because we can create an educational ecosystem that's private, that's basically starting working with us when these people are in elementary school all the way through becoming professional adults.
Right.
Cool.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody. And Martin, thank you, seriously, for being the late addition to all this. And your relationship with Dave, I know, is primarily why you stayed in, because you haven't met me yet. So
His
I'm
relationship
grateful.
with me is primarily why he's not wearing a shirt.
Exactly. Yeah. He's in just in different rooms right now.
Thank you, Martin.
I thought I logged into the wrong Zoom call.
Woo!
I don't need to end up on the news.
Cool. So, Will, you're going to put together an email, a wrap up of all this stuff, and
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll send you guys the overview on the 5th, everything visual. It's 3 different decks for the advertising, for literally the whole ecosystem, and then for everything as a whole.
Hey, but like Dave said, let's do one brick at a time. You got to build the foundation.
I built the foundation for 8 years.
yeah, the foundation's built. It's just a matter, but we still just want to get one brick out there. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
what the brick, the only brick everyone needs to worry about is the Loveoultuion Overnight Festival. That's it.
Yep. And let's do it. Last weekend of August.
God bless you, Willie.
Thank you, Bill.
All
Can't
right.
wait to see you boys.
All right.
God bless.
work with you guys, man.
And we'll obviously do another one of these before we show up for the telecom.
And nice meeting and seeing you all again.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Later.
you.
Meeting
Thank
you all.
you.
Great
Appreciate
talking.
you all. God bless you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Holden. Thanks, D. Thanks, Bill. Later, Dave.
Bye.